reading out the signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California won the big game.
5 seconds left in the game. You believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnham.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vane, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech Football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
Rick Watson's got the mic, he's the big dog king. Cover sports so sharp, it's a New River thing. Virginia Tech fire, rapid pride too. Every stat, every play, he's bringing it to you. He's got that voice, deep as a valley, breaking it down, no dilly, no dally. Big dog sports talk, feel the bark. He's got the scoop, faster than a sprint. Calling plays like a coach, every word's a hint. From the courts to the fields, the stories unfold. Rick's play-by-play, worth its weight in gold. With a laugh and a growl, he'll pull you in. Big Dog's podcast, let the games begin. Big Dog Sports Talk, feel the bark, feel the bite.
Hey, good morning. It's Thursday. How are you? Hit us up in the McClellan Chiropractic chat room. What's up, Adreeb? What's up, Wonderland? Welcome. Subscribe. All right. We are here on a Thursday. Welcome, BDST. Hit us up in the McClellan Chiropractic chat room and also on the Professional Door text line, 540-391-0788. Coming up at about 6:30, David Smith joins us. We'll talk some NFC South. Not necessarily the most exciting NFL division on paper, to be perfectly honest. But we will dive head into it with David. And then Coach Elmo will join us at 7:15. Andy Bitter is tomorrow. He and I talked about his appearance. Virginia Tech today is having their media showcase at the ACC kickoff. So we wanted to have a little more, I guess you could say, informative type of update about everything that he found out from a Tech perspective. We won't find out a whole lot of interesting things. It is what it is, but you got to make the rounds. It's that time of year, and everybody will be all cleaned up and looking good and smiles on their faces. And then you'll get back, and then shortly after, it's time to get practice going. So we're getting very, very close. Don't forget Professional Door. We talked about them and being sponsor of our text line and Travis Williams and Company. Right now, if you call them up at 674-0008 and you want to schedule your garage door preventative maintenance, then please reach out. Here in the month of July, you can schedule it for August, September, whenever it works. But you get the $40 off if you call during this month, during the 40-year month, and tell them you heard us talking about it here on the show. 674-0008. We've had quite a few peeps reach out, so hopefully you're following through. You don't want to miss out on $40 off. And once you deal with Travis and all the people from Professional Door, you won't want to go back. Let's put it that way. To anybody else, the NRV Super Bowl is where we're going to be on Saturday. Maybe get Travis out there. Anybody's welcome to come out and hang out with us. It's the BDST Bash at the NRV Super Bowl. Went by there yesterday and talked to Amanda. Got the outlay. It's going to be really cool. We're all the way on the end. We've got a whole room next to the axe throwing room. It's pretty cool. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Thanks to Morris again for being the hub of this thing. But it's going to be a lot of fun. It's a Super Bowl. Come on out. We'll be there from 6 to, around 9 or so, whatever. And we'll be bowling, and talking and eating and just having a good time, getting to meet everybody. So come on out on Saturday at the Super Bowl. Amanda's great. Talk to her at length, and we'll have a short little video we're going to do, and it's going to be outstanding. Sundown Electric, one of the best reputations of any business in our area. Reach out to the Smith brothers and go read their 5-star reviews. They're down in Elliston, and they'll take care of all your home and other needs, whatever it might be. Bob Christ, BOBCRST11 at Gmail. It's the Ready Set Fund. Go read up at ReadySetFund.com. I know quite a few people had never heard about it and have talked to me about it, and I'm like, yeah, read up on it and see. It is a very short time period, effective way for your organization to raise money. Just like here locally, Floyd County Softball. I think $4,300 in 5 days is amazing. But that's the kind of program that Bob is part of, and it's awesome. Lawson's Mobile Home Supply. James is supposed to come to the Bash. 300 North Franklin Street in Christiansburg, 540-381-8011. Reach out to him. Give him a call. National Bank, member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of, me for 35 years and this program. You should make them your bank as well. We're presented each and every day by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Thanks to Jonathan Sweet and Tim Miller. You can still go back on our site. It was a week ago tomorrow that we were over there showing you the Sportsplex, and it was outstanding. So go check it out. And thanks to them for all of their support. And Sportsplex will be open in at least in partial capacity, as Jonathan said on the video, in October. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg, 540-553-2971. Get your air units checked. I was out yesterday in Blacksburg, and I saw 2 or 3 different Little River Heating Air vehicles. So people are reaching out to them because they are the best at what they do. The attorney Ryan Pry, BDST fan question of the week. 701 West Main Street in Radford. We'll have the results tomorrow. He's a trust and estate planning specialist. It's interesting, this whole summer blockbuster. I don't want to give it away. The voting is close. We've got 4 movies that are pretty close together. There have been a lot of others mentioned, and I'll have them all down, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. But send me your answers. We could have a close one on the text line. Your idea of the perfect summer blockbuster movie. Right? Mark Hundley, McClellan Chiropractic. We were over there last Wednesday showing you all the cool stuff in the diagnostics and the machines, and Mark is terrific. Family Fencing, sponsor of our studios, 540-282-94. Jason Green and company have a big old billboard up coming up the interstate. But to go see them and get your privacy lines or whatever you need to get done through Family Fencing. What's up, Mark? Good morning. How are you? From the Heidi Tighties, Bugle Boy of Company P, while Jen tooting her sax, allegedly she plays the sax, comes up a little short, and now Morris of Whistling Dixie in Newport. BGST is live and online. When does North Carolina get rid of Bill? That feels tricky, doesn't it, Mark? It was something that the outgoing AD, Bubba Cunningham, didn't want to happen. He got overruled by outside influences in the program to bring in Bill Belichick, who was desperate to get into coaching again because the NFL rejected him. He didn't get any sniffing at all during a coaching cycle when he was no longer coach of the Patriots. It almost as if the league soured on him unanimously overnight. And I don't know. It's interesting. You know, people will still refer to him as the greatest coach of all time. I do not believe that at all. I'm not taking away from the success that he had and about being a winning coach. It's not that, but he's not the best NFL coach of all time. If that were the case, then he would have been able to at least have his team in contention after Tom Brady was gone and the Patriots completely fell apart. That was Tom Brady's team more than it was Bill Belichick's team. And I don't want to get into all the things that they were tied into that they did illegally and all those things. Right. What's up, Chillax? Yep, Scrappy Coco is here. So, was he an excellent NFL coach? Sure he was. Was he innovative from a defensive standpoint? Sure he was. You know, his coaching tree hires were never good. Mike Vrabel's the only one that's had any kind of success, and now he's mired in controversy. None of his coaches that left to become head coaches were any good. They had no success. How much of that success was tied into just one guy? Now we understand that the percentage of that was pretty high in Tom Brady's favor. He's been a disaster at North Carolina, hasn't he, Mark? I mean, recruiting, he hasn't liked. He didn't really do anyone any favors with this whole drama with his way too young girlfriend. And I'm sorry. That 50 years difference is weird. I'm sorry. You can sit there and say, well, people are living their lives. No, that's weird. Should have stayed in his lane. Yeah. So whatever you think of Belichick, if they have another bad season, how do you validate that? It's become a sideshow. It's so weird to say this, right? You have a guy who was lauded for years as kind of being the face of NFL coaches, right? Bill Belichick. Well, now when you associate that with college football coaching in the ACC, it's become almost the laughingstock of coaches in the ACC, right? You hear Bill Belichick at North Carolina. That doesn't resonate with anyone. It doesn't make you feel like, well, they're in really good hands. It's just a matter of time. it seemed like a sideshow from day one, and it just feels like an ongoing sideshow. Absolutely. Absolutely. Do I think he makes the full season? I don't know. That's up to the powers that be around the program, and if they can negotiate a buyout to where it doesn't come out of the player budget. I mean, that's what we're down to now, I think, with coaching hires. If you're going to make an in-season move, you're going to have the buyout money. So it's a good question, Mark. I don't quite know the answer to it. It's just bizarre. It really, really, really is bizarre. Tonight we will have BDST Pop join us about 6:45. I think Dwight Vick's going to join. Big Dog Pop tonight here on the channel. Be sure to stop by, kick a tire or two. And that will be tonight. And I will reveal my Virginia Tech football game-by-game prediction. I have predicted the schedule, and we'll unveil that this evening on Pop. And you can listen, and you can tell me either how right I am, or you can tell me what a complete and utter moron I am with my picks. Either one is acceptable. Just keep it clean. It is family-valued entertainment. No problem whatsoever, though. No problem whatsoever, if you disagree. So there's going to be a new data-driven tiebreaker for the ACC football championship game. John Swofford made some comments yesterday. By the way, the Virginia Tech uniform they had on display looks terrible. They had the Hokie stripes on the sleeves, and did they update it, or did Andy just get rid of them? That's wild. They had an old jersey. Okay, all right. So they had one jersey that was old. They had that jersey up, with those horrible shoulder stripes. See those? And then they put up apparently a jersey that is going to be current without the shoulder stripes, which looks a whole lot better. So that looks a whole lot better, although monochrome on monochrome is always a bad look. But that looks a lot better. So they did update the shoulder stripes. Thank God. Those shoulder stripes were terrible. Interesting interview with Ross Dellinger talking to Darian Mensah. I had 6 hours to make a decision, Duke or Miami. Jim Phillips talks about realignment. Says, I've always wanted this conference to be a place where they want to be, not where they have to be. Phillips was asked about the SEC Big Ten exploring self-governance, and he said self-governance to me means no governance. The Senate bill is getting fought by the SEC and the Big Ten. The ACC and the Big 12 are on board with it. Trying to go through some of the bullet points here. But the tiebreaker policy is very interesting. They did more than 10,000 simulated outcomes in creating the tiebreaker. Head-to-head will remain the most important, he said. Claims the ACC has the strongest non-conference schedule of any league with 25 games against power conference opponents. So, he was doing what the commissioner is supposed to be doing. But, little things like having the wrong Virginia Tech uniform up. It's a little detail that should never happen. And ACC did make it more complicated. You're right, Ralph. They did. he said he watched it and wondered why they just kept talking about how they couldn't reveal it. Until it's just, yeah, I know. But again, you're seeing a reactive thing from Jim Phillips. You're not seeing a proactive thing. I mean, they took so much heat for Duke being in the ACC title game instead of Miami. Miami goes to the national title game, so they are adjusting. They're being reactive over a horrible policy as opposed to being proactive and creating a good policy that maybe other schools would want to implement or other conferences would want to implement. This all goes back to the terrible decision they made years ago, what was it, 5 years ago when they did their 4 or 5 years ago, when they put out the list of 3 reoccurring opponents, talking about the round robin type of schedule in the ACC. And I remember we talked about it in this, when I was in the studio on the radio station when I was doing the show, and I looked at it and I was like, this is ridiculous. This isn't anything. Because some of the rivalries, not only Virginia Tech did not play Miami, you had other rivalries that didn't make any sense either with the schools in North Carolina. I don't know who comes up with this stuff or why they thought they could release that then. And of course, they trashed it after what? Was it just 2 years? Because of all the complaints? How could you not have Miami and Virginia Tech guaranteed to play every year? It was stupid then. It's dumb now. The tiebreaker was stupid then. It's dumb now. The fact that they've given all the rev share to the school who wins and you're not helping out your fellow schools is dumb then, and it's dumb now. So it's hard for me to watch Jim Phillips get up there and pontificate about things and believe that there's a lot of credibility attached to it, given that the decisions that he has spearheaded in his own league have all gone poorly. And I don't know if anybody had the courage to ask about, after the cycle through of the current TV deals, Big 12 is going to fly right by you and media revenue. What's your thoughts on what's the ACC going to do? I don't know if he was asked that question or not. I'll ask Andy that question tomorrow when he comes on. But I did watch a few snippets. It kind of felt like he was on the defensive immediately about his league because he's feeling a lot of heat. And he should be. He should be. The ACC is not positioned well for the future. Now, I know that we're going to have the bust up at some point, but when you made that comment about a place where members want to be and not feel like they have to be, I mean, do you think Stanford and Cal wanted to be in the ACC, or do they feel like that they had to accept the invitation, the desperate invitation you gave because everybody else was expanding and you had nowhere to go, nobody to add? I mean, how do you get up there and validate bringing a team? Has that ever been addressed properly? SMU's in the middle part of the country. Their situation's a little different because they sold all out to be part of a power conference. They didn't care what the initials were, and they had the money raised within 24 hours. So it didn't matter to them. It would have made more sense for them to be in the Big 12, clearly, or even in the SEC or Big 10. But here they are in the ACC because that was a league that needed some kind of influx and infusion of schools and some type of name recognition because they knew then that they were on the outside looking in just like they are right now. And they will be at the end of 2026 in terms of television revenue. Miami, if they can be good again, means a lot, means a whole lot to the league. I don't know whether that can happen or not consistently. They appear to be extremely strong on paper. We talked about that yesterday. But funny thing about it, after all these years, you do not play the games on paper. And a lot of things can happen throughout the course of a season. A lot of things can happen, positively or negatively. And I think the most positive thing that can happen is you stay away from injuries. If your team can stay away from injuries, then you have a real shot to reach whatever potential you kind of believe you've developed in the off season, early part of the non-conference, whatever it might be. So things change. But the ACC doesn't really change. It just kind of stays there, and this curious observation that we make of it. And you hope that, if you're a Tech or UVA fan, you hope that whatever this ends up looking like, and who knows, you just hope and have confidence that they're not going to be left out of this thing. What's up, Samarth? Samarth? How are you? Good to see you. Please subscribe, like, and share. But that's the synopsis yesterday, and we'll get further details. I'm kind of holding on. I'm not want to get into too much detail. I mean, it's media day. I really don't care. And we'll have Andy kind of give us a better synopsis because he'll be there asking questions, and that's how you do it. We grabbed teams up like we were needs in a schoolyard, nerds in a schoolyard fight with the jocks and just looking for numbers to increase the lineup. Yeah, it's a good way to put it, Wayne. I think it, without question, goes into the most ridiculous conference expansion move of any league. And that's saying something. Those two schools who watched their conference implode, not wanted at all by any of the other leagues, knowing they only had one safety net. What is this, year 3? Is this year 3 coming up? All the added budget constraints with other sports on top of football, basketball, travel, and I mean, just think about that. It's like having an older car truck that you don't think can make it maybe even across town in time to get to the garage, but yet you plan a 300-mile trip and you're going to take that vehicle because that's all you have, and then you just start it up, roll it out there, and you hope that you're going to be able to make it, right? It's kind of what the ACC did. Let's do something completely nonsensical, and yet we're going to try to sell this to our constituents. I wonder how it plays off when you have Cal and Stanford at the ACC media kickoff. Do they travel all the way to Charlotte? What about that expense just to go to the ACC? Does the league pay for that, or do they have to budget for that out of their own AD departments? That's true. The ACC is in better position for NCAA sailing championships, no doubt. Big rowing schools. Don't even get started on the water polo exposure. But we'll have a full report from Andy tomorrow and all the comings and goings of the league, and he'll update us on the things that he thought were interesting from James Franklin and Virginia Tech's appearance there as well. Joining us now on the program for his weekly appearance is our NFL guru. There he is, the Radford Basketball Hall of Famer, David Smith. What is up, DS? How you doing?
Good morning, brother. How are you today?
I'm okay. It's Thursday. We're getting toward the end of the week, and we're getting toward the end of our division assaults here with the South. So what else is going on?
Everything is well, man. We're going to attack this NFC South division today, and we're going to make sure you and I had a quick text yesterday, and I thought, let's dive into a little bit of that tinkering maybe at the back end of this if you want to, around some of the stuff you and Dwight was talking about yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Around the energy of the professionals these days, shall we say. And it's an interesting week, Rick, when you think about some of the noise that's going on with the All-Star baseball game. That's what I've been hearing a lot of, is the fact that some of the guys opted out. Some are hurt. They're very selective now in the fact that they will pitchers will pitch on Sunday, so they don't have to pitch on Tuesday.
Correct.
I'm reminded of a day long ago, maybe not that long ago, but maybe so, where the All-Star baseball game, you had to see it. You had
must
to
see.
see when the Dodgers and the Reds played together.
Yep.
When you had Joe Morgan and Bill Russell maybe been the shortstop from the Dodgers. There they are in the middle infield. And Pete Rose, is he playing third or first base or the outfield? Mike
right.
Smith.
Yeah, you didn't know where he would be. That's right.
You had all that. And my brother and I were talking yesterday about my brother is the reason I'm sitting here on the microphone is a love of sports, but it started with him. And he and I still talk about it all the time. Talk about Doc Ellis pitching to Reggie Jackson in the 71 All-Star game when Reggie hit the light tower in Tiger Stadium. 500 plus feet. I remember that game. And then I think it was the All-Star game before that where Pete Rose ran over Ray Fosse and pretty much ended his career, ran over him to win a game in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
And now they won't even play because they don't have to play. But Rick, I said we'd wait on this, but I guess I'll finish this tease.
That's okay.
Sorry. I think the thing I will say about it is I'll give some of the blame to the gatekeepers of this, the people who are in charge, the coaches, because somewhere along the way, the energy for having them to continue to do that must have been lost somewhat. Now, I know the players and the salaries and the agents and everybody's got their hands in it, Rick, but don't you think that a Sparky Anderson or a Earl Weaver managing an all-star game or Jim Leland, some of those guys would have been like, oh, look, we're going to do this right if you're coming over here at all. And that would have instilled that into players moving along.
100%.
Somewhere along the way, everyone got a little too relaxed in this and started seeing this as less than being super important. And, of course, the money. And we recognize the importance of having to win the championships. And we want to make sure that we're ready for this. But, of course, somewhere along the way, bigger, faster, stronger athletes can no longer pitch complete baseball games either. Somewhere along the way, that got lost. Bob Gibson pitched all the time complete games in wool uniforms. It was just as hot then with worse travel conditions and worse training staffs and nutrition, stuff that no one even thought about. So much for laughing at people smoking cigarettes between innings.
Right.
They somehow managed to pitch 9 innings in wool uniforms and heat a lot better than they are now. So yeah, I subscribe to a lot of what you and Dwight were talking about yesterday. And I long for a time long ago where the All-Star game meant a lot, and subsequently hearing him talk about the NFL guys yesterday, it pains you a little bit to hear that people may not be as interested as fans are. I'm not sure they've ever been, but you certainly hate to see it because football fans are, and I'm one of them. We're so locked in and attached to it that it's insane. And then, Rick, I'll close by mentioning I've been watching some of this World Cup too, right? Fandom is worldwide. When you root for your team, you're all in on your team. And it's just a way that you just want to see them give some of what you're giving to them back.
That's right.
And I think that's where the imbalance comes in. And so that's kind of how I see it. So anyway.
No, well, you hit that. It's the money. Money ruins everything. The desire for it, it creates all these, everything we talk about in sports is keyed into one thing: money. It changed the athletes. It changed you have guys out there battling, and it's all about 100%. Right. Hey, he's my agent. He shares my agent. I can't be mad at him after the game. Wow, the guys holding up jerseys, a lot of them have the same agent. They're
same agents. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's all just part of marketing, and that became bigger than the game. And this all started, I sent David this great clip of one of his all-time favorite Dolphins and one of my favorite players. I got to meet the man. He's Larry Zonka. He's just a legend in the way he went about his game and the whole Jim Kick, Larry Zonka, Mercury. I mean, that whole time, and it's a sloshing rain, and every step that he took to the goal line, it just splashed up more water. He gets in the end zone, he gets greeted by his teammates. The water's almost up to their ankles, and none of them cared. It was just the uniforms covered it. And I'm thinking today, guys would be complaining about having to play in it. The NFL would probably delay the game. It's just
that's a great point.
It's just not point. It just the visual of it, and they just don't get it. And we're supposed to just accept that as fans and just go, okay. You're already making all the money, but yet we're supposed to spend our money for your product, but you don't give us the product that we desire.
I just think I think, Rick, you're so right. We just want you, even if you aren't going to be on our level, give us the idea that it matters.
Yes.
If you can give us, because when it's what I think it was Marvin Hagler or somebody says, it's hard to train when you're sleeping in silk pajamas. I think it was his saying once upon a time. Or it can make it harder. But the old Tiger Woods, Tom Brady, Michael Jordan analogy that I hear a lot is those guys train like they're broke. They play like they're broke. They play like they don't have a dime. I mean, love or hate LeBron, you guys can feel how you want about him. I may not feel like others do about him, but I will tell you this. He doesn't have to go out there anymore and play. And he's going out there and he's playing. And he's not cheating you when he plays. He really isn't cheating you when he plays. It doesn't mean that he's whatever your Mount Rushmore is. I'm not even concerned about that. And if you want to say, well, he loves the limelight and he loves all that, maybe you can say that. But here's what you can say, too. He doesn't cheat the game. And I hear you talked about Keon in the LeBron room and the whole fanboy thing with it. I get it. And so, again, God bless Keon. He's such a generational guy. And listen, attach to it like you want to attach to it, because we're not coming off of the Jordan Rushmore either. We're Jordan guys. But the same way we feel about him, it's the same way a lot of those guys feel about him. A lot feel about Kobe. But the point is what I think we all love about those legends is they did not cheat us. They didn't cheat us, Rick. And so I think at the end of the day, we can live with the results as long as we see you laying it on the line. And I think that's probably when we see that, we attach to that. And I think that's what makes it great, when a guy can keep on trying.
100%.
We know he's invested in it, whether it goes this way or not. So
that's right.
Hey, great players. Show us your investment in it, and you'll have us. That's really where I see it at.
Well, that's why, even though I wasn't a Patriots fan, I never was a Brady hater, because of the way he approached the game and what it meant to him, and how he'd get in his players' grill. You see him on the sideline going nuts, and it was not because he's a jerk. He's just like, we can't win if you're doing this. It's about winning the game. And I grew to appreciate that more than resenting him from always winning and showing up. I was like, Patrick Mahomes is the same way.
Yep.
I don't like some of the things that he does and all the attention, but you know what? He's got that same thing in him. And it's not a surprise that we're talking about maybe the two greatest quarterbacks of their generation, because of what they have inside of them. And then that's what you appreciate more than all the things when you're told you're supposed to hate them because they keep winning and because they're on TV all the time, right?
Well, Rick, I think, too, there are very few incredible all-time greats that don't have some jerk in them.
Exactly.
It's just now today's era, we see it all. There's 100 cameras at a game. So
that's the key.
Anything on the sideline.
That's it.
Because I'm pretty sure Ken Stabler got into some fights on the sideline with that group. I'm pretty sure. Now, Dan Marino, we were starting to see it. And then in the 90s when Marino, in the 80s and 90s, Marino, you didn't have to worry about it. It was just one camera, and Marino was telling you on the field if you wasn't doing it right. He
knew his time was, yep.
But the point is he was fiery enough that he didn't wait till the sideline. So the one camera on him on the field, if it didn't go right, he's walking down the field.
Sure.
He's giving you the business. But if you ask those guys, they'll all tell you that in football is that way. It's just that way. It's always been that way in sports. We're now getting a closer look at it. We're now magnifying it. We probably have higher sensitivity to it, especially people who haven't played, because they see it as it's not as touchy-feely. Listen, football, there's nothing touchy-feely about training camp this Friday or Saturday in Seattle when they're trying to make time and they're trying to make a roster. I think that's for those who, even for those of us who played just in high school, like yourself and myself, we recognize that it is eat or be eaten time. And it is not, it can't be cute when you're colliding with people. It's fun. The fun comes in the game. The practice stuff is the ramping up to it to be successful. And it's not a cuteness about it when you're dealing with a contact sport and you really are at battle. And so competition can be that way. And Tiger brought it to golf, and people were kind of shocked, the language notwithstanding. I mean, it's just his way of exerting. But we certainly appreciate his commitment to the sport. We certainly did. And so superstars, do us all fans a favor. Just show that it matters to us, to you, and then you'll have us at hello. You'll have us at hello.
100%. Well, speaking of competitive, although it's not necessarily the sexiest of divisions, the NFC South should be very competitive. I mean, are the local folks in the area going to finally have a year that they might be able to say we're the toast of the town in Carolina? How did you break this division down? It's not the easiest division really to look at, is it, and get a good feel for. It's just kind of,
it
out
is
there.
not. It is not, Rick. And last year, Carolina won the division, and we're so proud of them. Us being right here. I say us. Our region, New River Valley, in the state of Virginia, represents mostly Washington because of the history.
Sure.
Favorite leaning state. But the southern part of Virginia and we will claim Carolina too. They're fun to root for when they're playing well. They had some ownership issues. They finally got that squared away. Tepper's over there now. Bryce Young, not your favorite guy early on, Rick. He wasn't. That's okay though, because he's found himself now a rhythm, and he's got himself. I think you and I talked about this before. I know we did. You've got to get the coach in a certain position to align with the player to get this thing going. And Bryce Young, I felt like when I watched him play the season before, I felt like he was trying to prove something a little bit, Rick. He didn't look comfortable. Although Bryce Young, when you watch Bryce Young, he doesn't look like the kind of guy that gets overly bothered, but he doesn't also always look like the guy that exudes a whole lot of that Brady stuff about him. It's just not how he's built. But here's what I know. He played for Nick Saban. And there's something about playing for Nick Saban that's going to be a little odd. It's going to be a little weird because he's going to make you have a certain amount of toughness, because Saban's going to challenge you all day, every day. And people know that, and they willingly go there because they want to be coached up. And so he was able to do that, Rick. And so Carolina, we'll start with them. Again, won the division last year. Congratulations to them. And so now you play a number one schedule, a 1 seed schedule, if you want to call it that. And so they'll open at home against Chicago on the 13th of September, which now, Rick, we're counting down less than 2 months until the first game. Like I said, I think Seattle opens training camp on Saturday, and I believe Friday, and I think the Niners open on Saturday. And so we've got that going on. And so Carolina is going to be, then they go to Atlanta, then they go to Cleveland, then they're home for Detroit. They have the earliest bye. That's always weird. They have the earliest bye of any team in the league. They play 4 games, and then they get a bye. And then, Rick, they've got to go and finish 13 straight weeks without a bye. I'm not so sure they did them many favors by winning the division last year. So they come back now, and they're in a situation where after the bye, they've got to go to Philly, then they're home for Tampa, then they're at Green Bay, then they're home for Denver. So they're coming off the bye, and they've got that stretch. Now, again, Rick, we make all these schedule announcements here, not that anyone couldn't go get them, and we make assumptions based on last year. This looks pretty hard. We have no way of knowing what it's going to mean. But unlike college, where the roster completely flips, in the NFL, it doesn't. So we can have a general idea of what we think can happen. I mean, I'm not so sure that many teams are going to do what New England did and turn it around from about 12 or 13 games like Vrabel did with them. So saying that, we always talk about the end of the season and the final 4 games. They're home for Cincinnati, at Pittsburgh, home for Seattle, home for Atlanta. 3 of their 4 are at home, and then the Pittsburgh game in week 16 is going to actually be a flex game. So I'm a fan of what Carolina has built. Now the question is, are they reading their press clippings? Is a coach going to humble them a little bit and keep them in a good position? Chuba Hubbard ran the ball really well for them last year. Looks like he found himself a home. And so to me, I think as we start to move into Carolina, the question will be, can they, as we say in golf, can you validate the previous hole? Can you now come back if you made a great eagle? What's your next hole going to look like? Or are you living, I'm talking about as an amateur hack like me, if you get an eagle, are you so full of yourself that you think you're going to get another eagle? Or can you stay steady and play good football? I don't think Carolina is too concerned about being a big ego-driven team. I like what they're set up to do this year. And so I'm bullish on Carolina again this year, Rick. I'm bullish on them. The problem with most of these teams is everyone in the division recognizes this is a gettable division.
That's right.
It's almost, they all eat their young throughout the whole season all the time. And there's been, if you look at it, everybody in this division has won it in the last 10 years in some way, shape, or form, or been near the top. And so Carolina, we will see if you can maintain.
Well, I know a lot of folks watching. Hope that's the case. All right, Tampa, Atlanta, and New Orleans. Where are you going next?
Let's go with Atlanta real quick, Rick. Atlanta, and so we're going to see if they can get the quarterback situation figured out. Again, for our listeners and viewers out there, Dave, you're saying the same kind of things. Well, that's because the same kind of things are true.
It's the same. That's right.
If you don't have the quarterback position squared away, you are going to make it extremely hard, if not impossible, on yourself to have the success you want to have. And so we all know how it went in Atlanta last year. Kirk Cousins was signed in the offseason. Oh, they finally got their guy. Okay, the Matt Ryan era is behind us. All right, great. Oh, you got the number 8 pick. What? Michael Penix Jr., are you serious? Okay, you needed so many other things. Okay, well, we on this program, before we came back on this program, I should say, but once it came back, we saw the same thing happening. That's not going to end well. And it didn't. It didn't. You and I are sitting here in Virginia saying that. You know that the country was saying that, and you know that their locker room was saying it. Michael Penix is going to wow you in practice, and he's going to make Kirk Cousins' job miserable there. And sometimes you don't need all that attention. If you remember when Cam Newton was in his backup role trying to go around the league and play, it wasn't that he wasn't as good as some of the people. He probably shouldn't have started, but his presence alone, Rick, made it very, very difficult for the team to be focused just on football because he's such an imposing, gregarious, impactful guy. Well, Michael Penix throwing the football was a lot that way in my estimation. Well, certainly enough, he gets his chance to get in there. Kirk Cousins doesn't get back in there. You're paying 2 quarterbacks. Now Kirk Cousins has moved on. I think he's out of the picture. And so now when you think about Atlanta, but what did they go do, Rick? They went and traded or picked up Tua Tagovailoa. So they've got Tua as their backup quarterback now in Atlanta. And so when you start thinking about that, have you done anything any different? I still feel, 2 lefties, no less, right? 2 lefties, but both of them have had injury issues in the past. They've got several people. Bijan Robinson, Rick, is a top 2-3 running back.
Great player
in football. Kyle Pitts, I know I heard Todd Grantham talk about him, raves
loves
about
him,
Kyle.
Still loves him. Yeah.
Listen, he raves about him like I thought about him when he was coming out in the draft. Like he's one of those freak guys. It's like, what do you do with him? I think Coach Grantham talked about what was going to put him on defense at one point.
Yeah, he said he was willing to bring him over. Yeah.
Was going to put him on defense, and I'm sure Coach Grantham's not going to just bring anybody over there. But think the versatility. That was going to at Florida where they've got a million studs. Hey, I think he can play defense here. So I think he's re-up too. And I look forward to seeing what they can do. The thing with Atlanta coming down the pike, Rick, they open with the Steelers and then Carolina and at Green Bay, at New Orleans. 3 of their first 4 are on the road. I'll be interested to see how things go in camp. I'm pretty sure if Michael Penix is healed, he'll be the guy that'll run point on that situation. But as it turns out, Rick, Atlanta is just a question mark. We want more from them. They've got all you want. You've got a fantastic city. You've got a fantastic building. You've got a destination to be in. They just need to do it. They just need to do it. We have to go back to Matt Ryan and 28-3. The New England fans will tell you, thanks for the gift. And so since then, they've kind of been a team that you feel like should be making a move to do it. I'll be looking forward to seeing how they settle in the quarterback position. They're going to be a fun football team to watch. I think they're going to be fun to look at and see. But the division, again, very gettable. The main question for them, it's not very complicated when he talks about Atlanta. It's very, very simple for them. Who's going to steer the ship? And how will Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson, you got all these nice toys in the stable, Rick, all these great toys. It's time for them to show and prove, too, as they move into the new Michael Penix only / Tua era. We got to watch and see, Rick. How long will that last? When will Tua get in? When will they start rooting for him? So, again, more quarterback issues, perhaps, in the ATL.
Yeah, and all the people who made that decision about Penix have been fired. Arthur Blank didn't take long to act, did he? GM,
they're gone.
Assistant GM, all gone for that horrible decision. And you know what's still saying? You have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have any.
Don't have any.
So that's what they're looking at. Well, we know Tampa Bay just has 1 quarterback. I'm not sure about New Orleans, if they even have anybody capable long term. So where are we going next? I'm guessing we're going to Florida next, or no?
Great call. We'll do Tampa. And then there's Baker Mayfield, who's still trying to get this deal signed from everything I'm seeing. And Todd Bowles loves him. But, of course, Todd Bowles isn't the owner. So Ty Bowles is he's thrown his hat in the ring. And of course, Rick, when these things get down to it, it always happens right about now, whether it happens or not, whether Baker ends up not signing the deal and plays with a chip on his shoulder and angry all year long, will the owner blink, or will Baker decide he's not going to be there? I don't think Baker's not going to show up on the field. Jake Browning's his backup. I don't think he's going to hang his team out. They did lose Mike Evans. They lost Mike Evans to an NFC rival. He's gone to the Niners now. Mike Evans, all he did was catch 1,000 yards in every season he's played in.
It's huge loss. Huge
No
loss.
one has ever – every season he's played in, Mike Evans has shown up to play. Probably underappreciated, Rick, not just by us on the program, but in the pantheon of NFL receivers, not Jerry Rice, not T.O., not Randy Moss, not Chris Carter, not Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt. No. Him. He's the only one to get 1,000 yards in every season he's played in. I remember one season he was limping around and he was close to it. And I'm not so much, I didn't hate it for him. Man, go get your 1,000 yards. They were making sure that they got it for him because those 2 or 3 yards that he got were important to keep a streak alive, to keep a guy's legacy going. I don't hate that because he had done 990 something. Get the other 10 yards kind of thing, right? So their offensive line is pretty solid and pretty stout. And Baker Mayfield, to me, go ask the Cleveland Browns how would they take Baker Mayfield now?
Yeah,
they probably would take him now and not have this parade of quarterbacks that they keep drudging through there and trying to figure out. Their defense is always – do you just sense like me, Rick, that Tampa Bay's defense has always been a stalwart, always a good physical team? Vita Vea.
Yeah, they are.
They've got Antonio Winfield. Now, they've lost some pieces. I know I think Levante David's gone now. And so they've had a couple that was been in there for a while. But for me, I think Ty Bowles is always going to be good on defense. Now, when you think about Tampa and their schedule, they open up at Joe Burrow. And again, the whole Joe Burrow thing, maybe you've seen the top 10 quarterback list that's going on. We're going to get into that as the top 100s are starting to be released. And so we'll touch on that before the season. In the top 4 quarterbacks that were picked, Rick, by GMs and scouts, Joe Burrow still rates number 1 between 1 and 5. I think he's somewhere in the 4 area. No one disputes what they've seen him do on the field, but where does productivity, availability,
right?
Being there should matter for something. It should, and so, but there's no, and he's got this plethora of weapons that he's had the luxury of having. Don't fight it. If you got it, take it. So we're going to find out real quick. They open week 1 in Cincy. Then they've got Cleveland, Minnesota, and Green Bay. It's a favorable kind of start for them. I mean, they have a chance to come out the gate and be good. 3 of those 4 at home in that Tampa Heat. So that'd be a chance to get a Green Bay team down that Tampa Heat, a Minnesota team down that Tampa Heat. Those are week 3 and week 4, and then they go to Dallas for week 5. Their bye is not till after week 9. It's an ideal bye, right dead in the middle of the season, where everyone gets a chance to get away and recharge. They close out the season with 3 out of the 4 division games. They're home for New Orleans, at Atlanta, home for the Rams, and at New Orleans. 3 of their final 4 games are flex games too. So Tampa, again, Baker Mayfield notwithstanding, pretty solid in their roster component and makeup. They're probably looking upset about the fact that Carolina came in and took their division last year. Todd Bowles, there was some question whether he would come back. He did come back, and it looks like, Todd Bowles, I wish more people would coach like Todd Bowles. If Todd Bowles did a voiceover on this program and we didn't see his face, we probably wouldn't even know what he sounds like. No. That's how little you hear from him.
We wouldn't guess Todd Bowles.
You would be like, who is this? And Rick, what's funny is I say that in reverence. I wish more coaches were that way. Now, not that he has obligations, and all the coaches do, but he says only what he needs to say, and he's out of there. He's a football coach. He's a man's man, former Washington Redskin back in the 80s as well. So a champion. So he's got pedigree. And so I look forward to seeing what Tampa's going to do in this division that is always up for grabs. Always up for grabs. And so that leaves one team, Rick.
Yeah. Are they the most uninteresting team in the NFL? Maybe them or Arizona.
Rick, it is so incredible because, as we make a few notes, I do for coming on with you, but I don't want a lot because I like us to have some banner. But even for that, who are they?
I don't know.
They, of the 32 teams, I would probably say this is the team that is the quietest team to be in a city like New Orleans than anybody, right? And so now it wasn't that way, Rick, when Sean Payton was there and Drew Brees was there.
No.
It wasn't quite that way then.
No.
And so their quarterback is Tyler Shaw from Louisville. Remember, he was like, I think, an afterthought pick. He's their starter. And they're good with it, Rick. They seem fine with it. There's been no chatter about it. I just saw yesterday that Alvin Kamara restructured his deal to stay there. Travis Etienne from Jacksonville is going to probably be their bell cow, but Kamara stayed anyway. So he could have left. He could have gone for probably the same dollars. He's like, I want to finish my career here. They're just quietly established and stuff. They're very nondescript around personalities, right, at this particular time. And so there they are, a team that, again, we don't know a whole lot about. They aren't making a whole lot of noise, Rick. But what is funny about them is they are in a division that is gettable. They are in a division that's gettable. And I'm trying to pull this up real quick, Rick. I believe last year let's see, their record last year was, I think they won 7 games last year, if I'm not mistaken. I think they were, I'm sorry, 6-11. They were 6-11 last year. Lost the last game 19-17 to Atlanta. And so if you had said, what was the Saints record last year? If you had said 3 or 4 games that they won, you would have said that sounds about right. But there they are, and they were very competitive in a lot of games. Again, they had to play the Rams. They had to play the Bears. The Bears beat them double digits. New England, they only lost 2-6. That's the Super Bowl runner-up. And so they had Buffalo on the schedule, San Francisco on the schedule, Seattle on the schedule. I mean, so they had to play the West last year. So again, New Orleans opening up the season, they got 2 road games out the gate. Now we're going to know a lot early, Rick. Tyler Shaw's they've got Detroit and they got Baltimore on the road first 2. That's a lot. That's no fun. I don't know who did they make mad to have to deal with that. And then they're going to host Vegas and then host Atlanta, then host Minnesota. Then they're at the Giants and then they're home for Pittsburgh and they get a week 8 bye. So that Detroit, there's an angry Detroit team that's going to be waiting on them. And then they've got the at Baltimore game. That'll be Baltimore's home opener, as Baltimore will, I think, open their first game. I believe their first game is in Brazil, unless that's the third game. So either way it goes, to have to go to Baltimore early in the season, it's going to tell us a lot about who New Orleans is. The funny part about New Orleans is, again, when you're having to play Atlanta and Tampa to close out the season, you got 3 of their 4 last games they got Tampa twice in the last 4 weeks. And so there you go with New Orleans. And so, Rick, I wish I had a lot to tell you about New Orleans.
I know.
I don't know. Probably the one team, and I get the NFL package, probably the one team that I saw the least last year when I think about it. Because I tend to, every week I tend to want to watch something from every game. Just a little something. Just not just for this show, but just for my own interest. Probably the one team that I watched the least, because they didn't play my guys last year that I recall. If they did, I don't remember.
I know.
If they did, they actually did play my guys, and so I can't believe I missed. That's probably the one game I saw them in. They played Miami, and they lost to them 21-17. That made them 2-10, and then they went on a little bit of a run. So as I see it, Rick, the Saints, to me, I believe that they're unfortunately probably going to still end up in 4th in the division this year. I believe that. I think Atlanta's going to end up in 3rd. I've got Tampa in 2nd. I think Carolina's going to win the division again. I think it's going to be Carolina, Tampa, Atlanta, New Orleans. But just kind of like I think I said about one of the other divisions we went over, it could be a 9-8, 8-9, maybe a 9-8, 9-8 tiebreaker, something that'll win it. You could have all the teams within 2 or 3 games of each other. I see them kind of clumped together. Unlike some of the other divisions where I think I can see separation, I think this is going to be typical of the NFC South, where it's going to be who's going to be standing at the end. I think we'd be watching on week 18, seeing who wins by point differential or something to that effect that can separate it all.
No, I think that's solid. I mean, I think that's the way I would look at it too, going into it on paper. So they have Joe Burrow in the top 4, and top 5 of the quarterbacks still. Yes. I think, and I don't have it in front of me, I think it was Josh
Allen.
Yeah, Josh and Mahomes.
Lamar was 5. And I think third, I'm trying to remember who was third now. It escapes me. But
was Matthew Stafford in there at all?
I think he was top 10. Yeah, I should have had that in front of me. But yeah, they had Burrow.
That's all right.
They had Burrow, but yeah, and so Jalen Hurts wasn't top 10. Again, I don't know what they base it on, but I think I heard that the question was, I was listening to this as I was driving. I think what they based it on was they asked them, and if this is the case, then maybe I'll give them some grace. Which quarterback gives you the most problems, not who's best? If they ask it that way, Josh Allen to me gives you the most problems.
All right.
In fact, I don't even disagree that he's probably right now playing the best position, playing it at the best. Josh Allen.
Yeah, there's no question. Yeah,
Rick, he's the
best quarterback. Yeah, he is.
He's the best quarterback, and Mahomes hasn't had it great the last 2 years, the last year in particular. And Mahomes, it's just what it is. Doesn't make him not make him an all-time great. But Josh Allen to me is an absolute nightmare. He's running downhill at 250. He throws the ball through a tornado. And you can hardly sack the guy. He's so strong. I think he is probably the most feared force in the NFL at the quarterback position. Joe Burrow, I think people see his cerebral ability and the fact that he can carve it up. So I'm guessing this is just all opinion. This isn't the whole. If you were to say who's the best or who's playing the best, and if this were the list, then I would have a lot more problem with it. I'd have a lot more problem with it. So
one of our watchers says Stafford was third. So there we go. That makes more sense. There you go. I love Matthew Stafford. I think
he's phenomenal. He's
great.
He's phenomenal. And for my money, I think they probably have it right. I don't. You know what? I don't disagree with the first 3. I think I would probably have Lamar probably ahead of Josh in terms of bothersome because Lamar's legs. Now, you can say that the last year or two, he hasn't used them like he used to. And we watch a lot of Baltimore in this house, and you know why. And
I know exactly why.
And I watch them and love them too. Even when my wife's not in the other room ripping it to shreds, we can't believe how many times we've been like, man, run. And remember, early in his career, we were saying, don't run, slide, get down. Now we're saying, well, it's such a valuable thing, Rick. And again, you play, defense. It's hard enough to have to deal with one thing, deal with one. Hey, there's a running back or whatever. You and I have had conversation around why the triple option used to drive Bud Foster and others crazy.
Absolutely.
It's too much to deal with. You just want to have 1 or 2 things to deal with. I don't need 3 to 4. The triple option, is it the dive? Is it the pitch? Is it the pass? Is it the quarterback? Who you break the team down by thirds, you've got all these responsibilities and one mistake by one of them, and they pop it. Well, Lamar's ability to run, that's his superpower. It keeps people a certain kind of way, which opens up other things. And when he has chosen not to run, and we're not there on the field, whatever he's not seeing, it's on him. But when he's able to run, that's what's making Josh Allen a separator right now, Rick, because when he takes off, not only is he able to run at a decent speed, when he gets to the place of collision, he's winning a lot of those battles too. And so, I just found it interesting that Burrow was there. But when you give it more context, I can see some of that. But you're right. Matthew Stafford, the last couple seasons he's had with McVay, man, it's just ridiculous. He's just arm talent's ridiculous.
And I agree with Tebow. I think Hurts has to be in there. He's got to be.
He has to.
Come on, it's like, what do they base this on? Yeah, it's like.
Well, the unstoppable play itself, Rick. The push. We can talk about whether you love the push or not, and I'm not sure I love it. I'm not sure I love it. But at the same time, it's available and it's allowable. It's the rules. If you change it or not, it's again. It's not illegal. It's just not aesthetically pleasing at all. It's just not. It's just not. It's just not.
I hate that play.
I don't. When I see it happen, I go, not sure that's what football was meant to be. But it's really pushing people against their will. So it's gray to me. It's gray to me. Yeah. But that's not all Jalen Hurts is, though. That's not all he is. He's a Super Bowl champion, and he should have 2. I mean, he outplayed Mahomes in the one Super Bowl that they lost and lose by a touchdown. Correct. He outplayed him. And then he comes back and they beat their head in on the second one. He made it clear. And so, again, I don't know why they aren't, but Rick, he's been doubted his whole career. We've seen it, Rick. You and I have seen it. The Alabama thing, it's not working. Tua, okay, goes to Oklahoma. He's a Heisman finalist, gets picked in the second round by the Eagles. Carson Wentz is there. He gets that job. All he does is align with Sirianni, and they won the Super Bowl and been to another one. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good career. Dan Marino didn't do that. Dan Marino didn't do that. Dan Marino didn't do that. He did. He didn't do that.
So everybody's asking again, David, you're gonna be at the bash? No, David lives a pretty far away, folks. It's hard for him to drive to Radford for one day.
I really would have been there, Rick. I did have a conflict. I remember the date is Saturday the 18th. I remember it. I've been listening to it. You guys, I owe you one. Had I not had another commitment and this weekend, I would have certainly been there, because I actually wrote it down, and I was like, I said, Peps, we got to try to make that bad boy. So rain check on the bash. So take great pictures, man. Let me know when you have the next one, man. I'm gonna make it a point to be there. I'm gonna clear the calendars for it. I like to meet the peeps, man.
Yeah, we're gonna do like a little 10-minute live thing. I'm gonna go around and I clear.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so you'll get to see it on the channel. We'll have like a little visual.
I can't wait, man. So yeah, maybe have a fat head of me or something.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. Yes, there he is. Yeah, if you can't be there, right?
That's right. That's exactly right.
Can't be there, be there. So yeah, man. So Rick, we got the NFC West next week.
Yeah, that one I'm pretty stoked about. Sands, Arizona. The other three, though, kind of interesting to me.
Sands, Arizona. Yeah, I think that division may be as loaded. I mean, it seems like it should be Seattle's. San Francisco actually seems like it should be the Rams. But then there's Seattle sitting there saying, you can talk about the Rams all you want. Talk about them. Good. That gives us, we need that energy.
They love it.
Yeah, just keep on. We're going to hang the banner on the opening night. You guys can talk about it all you want. You can, Aaron Donald, yes or no, he's working out there. It seems like a fait accompli. I mean, they're trying to, is this a super team kind of thing? Are they going NFL on us, just stacking up, see what happens?
Why not? Why not?
But Rick, I it's going to be real interesting. I'm going to really spend some time to unpack how I think that's going to land, because I'm sure I'm going to get it wrong, because I don't think anybody knows how that division is going to end. But it's easy to say the Rams should be the favorite, because all we have is paper right now. All we have is paper. But as you know, as Matt Rohn said yesterday, it takes a good amount of luck and to get to the finish line. You've got to be upright. You've got to be upright in this thing. And we talked about Matthew Stafford being a force multiplier. He has to be at the helm. Like, he steers all that. You can have Aaron Donald. You can have Donald Duck. If Matthew Stafford's not behind that quarterback position, all bets are off. Bets are off. And now McVay can coach, and he can probably make it move for a little bit. But Matthew Stafford just opens it all up for all those wonderful receivers: Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams. I mean, you just name it. They've got them all. Williams at running back. So next week we'll do the NFC West, and then after that, Rick, we'll come back the next week. Training camps will be open, and then we'll give you who we think's going to the playoffs out of all this. If I've got any tweaks from the predictions I've made based on information I've gotten at that point, and we'll line up the 7 from the AFC, the 7 from NFC, see if we can give a little playoff prediction and see how the thing will fall out. And then maybe by then we'll have more of the top 100 we can unpack and have some fun around who we think the players. It's always fun, that top 100 list, because that's the players.
Yeah,
that picked that.
That's the one that means something to the players that are picked too. They appreciate that one, because that's that's exactly right, Rick. And so there's no fluff there. And no.
If you're one or two, I mean, you just said it better than anybody. If the players think you're that dude, then you're probably that dude.
That's what matters. Yeah, to the guys. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think there's a QB documentary on Netflix now. I've been told I need to get my hands on and watch too. I think they've had those in the past. I think QB3?
Sure. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I think I was told that's really must see TV. I've got to kind of get up into that. So while we've got nothing on, we need to kind of dive into that as the ACC meetings are going on now, and so we're going to find out more about tech. I think that's what AB is today, right, Rick? Is that what you were saying earlier? He's at
he was going to come on today, and we talked, and he's getting all the information today. Tech goes today. They have their interviews, so he's going to come on tomorrow and give us a full review. So we'll find out.
I can't wait to hear it. Yeah, can't wait to hear it. It's exciting times in Blacksburg, Rick. It is all the chips in the center Let's go get it. They've done all the things, haven't they?
And I'm bothered by people are trying to take shots at Aaron Donald for this whole thing, and I'm like, wait a minute,
leave the guy alone. We're taking shots.
The guy was the best player of his generation, his position. He's
8-time All-Pro.
He's a first-time Hall of Fame. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
No question.
You talk about not cheating the game. There was no Sunday that he ever approached any stadium without wanting just to be the best. It's his life. If he sees this team, his organization, and they want to bring him back, and he's like sitting around going, you know what? I got another year or two left in me. They got Myles Garrett. I would love to finish off and remember those days where I lined up beside this guy. I think if anybody deserves to do that, it's Aaron Donald. And all these people that want to kind of throw judgment at these competitors that are completely not made like the rest of us. That's why they're like less than 1% of the population.
There you go.
Then why don't you just keep your mouth shut and let this guy deserves to have that choice if he wants. And I've seen shots of him. He looks just like he did when he was a player. He might be a little leaner in the right area,
if not better.
But
right?
Leave him alone. If he wants to play the game, let him play the game. I don't understand why people want to criticize things like that, but yet they ignore the things that we kind of open with about what is clearly wrong with the game. But yet here's a guy who wants. Okay, so what? Good. I want to see him out there lined up beside Myles Garrett. I would love to see that. I won't like it when they play the Broncos this year, but I would love to see that every Sunday.
Maybe that's his off game. Maybe he'll take that day off. But Rick, it's the same thing. And there's a part of me that has this nostalgic feel about how I think something should be. Jordan, why would you go play for the Wizards, Jordan? You've already had your legacy, right? But it's his. It's his. And so, I mean, I don't want anybody telling me what's my legacy if I were fortunate to have had one. It's on me. I mean, we think now, Rick, the fandom part comes back. We talked about earlier. We feel we have enough of an investment to have an opinion that we think should matter, and we voice what we think you should do. We're not doing the 150-pound dumbbell pushes or the sled pushes or the stuff I've read about when Aaron Donald took pros to work out with him. Those guys couldn't even get through it. Those kinds of things. I mean, a pro can't get through a workout with him and that kind of thing. He ended his career early. He doesn't owe us anything.
Exactly.
Anything. Exactly. And if he were to leave to go to, say, let's say Brady was with the Patriots.
That's different, right?
And then he's like, I'm just going to go jump on and do this kind of thing like several people did toward the end of their career. I think James Harrison ended up at the Patriots at the end trying, just, hey, I got a little fight left. And, and it was very little fight. And James Harrison was another guy didn't cheat the game. But it just goes to show you how hard it is. Yeah. And so to me, I'm with you. It is his. He's a Ram. It's going back to the Rams. I have zero issue with it. I would have had zero issue wherever he had gone. There's a party that just goes, well, I would have preferred this, but that's just fandom stuff. But I don't have any, man, like I said, do what you want to do. You guys are pros. You guys got to do the work. Go get it done. I got no problem with it. None at all. None at all.
I'm just upset he didn't want to be a Bronco.
Don't you think?
Come on over.
Hey, let me tell you. Let me tell you, that would have been fine too. We've seen those things before. I think Dion had taken years off. I think he ended up going back to Baltimore. I think he did at the word. And you think about Rod Woodson, Shannon Sharp. They ended up in Baltimore at the end of their careers and got a Super Bowl there.
I know.
So it's always happened. Aaron Donald wanting to go back to the team that drafted him, the team that he won with, he stayed with. He left the sport early at the peak of his superpowers. He was still All-Pro. I think he played 9 years. I think he was first-team All-Pro 7 or 8 years. There's only been, I think, Jerry Rice and maybe Jim Otto are the only people that have been first-team All-Pro for, I think, maybe 9 or 10 years. Now, that's a list. First-team All-Pro for a decade. For those who don't know Jim Otto, Rick, I think you remember his number. What was his number, Rick?
Of course I did. 00 with the little – he had the Zonka little bar too right here.
Yes, he did. Jim Otto, he was when you think of centers, that's Jim Otto. One right there. It was Jim Otto, a perfect name for a center for the Raiders. I mean, you can't make this up. Typecasting would have gotten it perfect if they had seen Jim Otto. He was the typecast center.
Yeah, 100%. Right. 100%.
Yeah, buddy. 100%. Yeah, leave Aaron Donald alone, folks. Find something else to complain about.
Yeah, the league's much better if he's out there on Sundays this year.
You better believe it.
Come on.
That's exactly right. Leave it alone.
All right, brother. Great stuff, man. We'll miss you this weekend. Understand completely. And we'll be thinking about you on Saturday at the Bash. Yep.
Well, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for the chat. I'm one of these days I'm going to be brave enough to open up the screen to read all this, but I get too distracted. I can't even focus.
I understand.
So I'm a one-trick pony. So I'll let Rick navigate the chat. Maybe one day when football season starts, I'll expand the screen and start reading the chat. We'll have some fun with it because during the season, guys, we get to unpack games. We'll do picks. We'll start having some fun with this thing. We'll chart it and track it, and Rick and I go against each other, and the winner of the season will owe each other a dinner. Those dinners are staying somewhere in the ether.
They are. Yeah, they're piling up against me and my bank account. Actually.
Well, don't worry. As soon as I get the Radford schedule, I'll start making some plans to get down there early. Maybe we'll cash in on a breakfast together or something like that.
There we go. Yeah, I'd love that.
But that won't be long either, Rick. Basketball season's right around the corner, bro. Those guys have already been back, right? I guess you've already seen the team's already been back, haven't you?
Yeah, everybody's working out across the country. You can do that now through July. They'll leave at the end for a couple of weeks before school starts. But yeah, it's happening now. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's crazy, man. It seems like it's shorter and shorter. I know it's the same time, but maybe it's just my age. It seems like off season is shorter and shorter. And I'm grateful for the summer. You and I are summer fans of the good, nice weather and the long days and the sun being up. This heat's pushed it, but soon as it starts to get cold, we're going indoors, brother. So
correct.
I know you got soccer. I know you got soccer calls, and you got to deal with some of that back end cold weather.
Yeah, open press box up there at Cup, man. It gets a little chilly in early November, late October.
Yeah, that's when you're longing for the basketball, and so it comes at a perfect time. It comes at a perfect time.
Yeah, you better believe it.
Yeah, man. There you go.
All right, brother. We'll look at the West next week in the NFC. Great stuff. You actually this is how good you are. You made the NFC South interesting. Congratulations.
Well, we do the best we can, Rick. We only have a few ingredients, man, to make the stew. We're trying to make it tasty. That's all we can do.
That's exactly right. We had Hassenpfeffer today because of you.
And for those who don't know Hassenpfeffer, once again, you probably didn't watch enough Looney Tunes.
Correct.
Because that's where I knew you would know. That's it. And for those who don't know, the host will tell you after I'm gone what that whole thing is.
Exactly
Hassenpfeffer. Hassenpfeffer. So if you know, you know. If you know, you know.
Exactly. All right, my friend. Have a great weekend.
Appreciate it, Rick. Thanks, buddy.
All right, great stuff. David Smith, the best NFL analyst in the business. Hassenpfeffer, rabbit stew. Yeah, the king was trying to catch bugs. I don't know why. But it made for one heck of an episode when you're growing up and you're watching cartoons. TiVo says it's the disrespect that Hurts get. I think you're right about my guy, too, Bo Nix. He was really low on the list. It seems like Bo Nix is going to be viewed like Hurts. I hope he wins the Super Bowl and plays in a couple at least like Hurts. So, yeah, I think you're right, Tebow. I think Hurts and Nix they're just kind of being looked at as kind of the same type of player. Joining us now on the program is that gentleman. He is Coach Elmo. What's going on, Coach Elmassian? Good morning. How are you?
Rick, I love being on the show. Do not let me follow David.
It's time, baby. Come on. You got to.
No, put me on first. Put me on at 6 o'clock. I don't want to follow this guy.
He's pretty good, isn't he? Pretty good.
The information, but just the thought-provoking information and the detail of going through. Hey, I got to read off of my notes for God's sakes. He's ridiculous.
Oh, he's great. Yeah, he's a 5-star recruit, coach. He would have made it easy for you out on the recruiting trail if you had a David Smith out there. You were going to go. You were going to go see.
No, let me tell you what. He'd be right. He'd be right beside me trying to recruit the kid.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Hey, this is unrelated. It's a good question. Tebow's asked. He's a big Eagles fan. What do you think of Jalen Hurts? Because it does seem like he gets a lot of disrespect. He's not high on this list, which is ridiculous to me when you talk about a guy who's had success. And I know he had some issues with the team last year, but he's always handled himself professionally. As a player in Alabama, Oklahoma, now the NFL, what do you like about Jalen Hurts from what you've seen?
Well, his tenure in Alabama spoke volumes of his character and the focus. And getting benched in a game and in a national stage and And I don't know if his dad was a coach I think he was a coach's kid or somewhere in the family. And those guys are different breeds when it comes down to handling adversities. I thought how he handled that adversity spoke volumes.
You better believe it.
Play.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's so hard, especially at Oklahoma and even in the transition in Alabama, you're actually what I consider a spread offense, non-rhythmic throwing the football quarterback. I either categorize them as West Coast guys or spread guys. And there's a big difference. West Coast guys are Tom Brady, as an example, timing throws. It doesn't mean they're smart guys, the Montanas and the Bradys, but the instincts and the clock, that internal clock of getting that ball to wherever it needs to go because you're on the clock in your decision making by the time it's in your hands and by the time it's out of your hands.
Right.
And those West Coast quarterbacks, a la Montana and Brady, they're able to they got it. The spread guys, it's all about throw to the open guy. Just throw to the open guy. It's more of a, if he's not open and he's not open, what's the third option? Well, let's beat feet and let's go. And their timing throws are not very good. Their timing after that coaching breaks down, their running abilities extending the play. Whereas a Brady, Breeze, Montana, they're extending the play through the progressions and keep working through it, moving in the pocket. I think he's probably, as any of the spread quarterbacks, as I categorize him, he has transitioned to the NFL as well as any of them. Okay, because it's square peg round hole. I mean, you put him in it's just like Lenora Sellers at South Carolina. He's a spread quarterback. He's an excellent athlete, a great kid. I've watched him practice for the last 2 years in a row in the spring. They tried making him a drop back quarterback NFL guy last year when Shula was the coordinator, and it's not going to work. He'll have a hard time transitioning in the NFL. He already couldn't do it in college.
Yeah.
This kid has done it. He has done it. And, it's like anything else. Once you add Saquon Barkley, the spread offense is 80% of the time the productivity of the spread offense is coming out of the quarterback to a point. Okay. A la Kyron Jones. And if he can only do it for 2 quarters, it's not going to work. If you got a 4-quarter spread quarterback, hey, points are coming on the board through the athleticism. But I think he's transitioned to an NFL quarterback as well as any, quote, my take on it, spread quarterback. And I think that's a tribute to the coaching and the kid. I think, from what I have heard about him, very dedicated, great work ethic,
very cerebral. I've heard he really studies the game.
Again, I'm probably wrong, but I thought I heard his dad was a coach, which I've always said.
Yeah, he was in Tebow's in Houston, coach. He was in Houston.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, let me tell you, as I've told you on this show numerous times, like when I first saw Drew Brees, I said, there's coaching in that family someplace. You can tell. I swear to God, I could sit there and I would go, damn it, it's a coach's kid. Zach Taylor, our quarterback in Nebraska, he was the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year in 2006, his senior year, after leaving Wake Forest, going to Butler Community College, winning the national championship, and was the only other offer we beat him for was Marshall, and he had a great career at Nebraska. He's the head coach of the Bengals now. He's a coach's kid. His daddy was a coach at Oklahoma. I think his dad played at Oklahoma, but he was a coach in the old Big A. So my point being is, I think Jalen Hurts I like him. And when they got Saquon Barkley, it all fit.
No. Yeah.
And that's always the key. I've always said Sean Moore between his sophomore and junior year it was all about the Terry Kirby, and everything changed. Everything changed for the kid. So, when you can have they talk about diminishing running back returns, bull crap. Let me tell you, you block it for 4 and that guy gets 15, that's when that's when you got a good back. Block it for 3, he gets 3. Block it for 4, he gets 4. Now you're going to count on the quarterback creating the points and moving the football and the productivity within your offense. You got to get it out of his hands and not necessarily that he's going to win now distributing the ball down the field instead of handing it off. And your offensive line, they're going to, when they think about this too, all of a sudden the Eagles get Saquon Barkley. Next year, the offensive line's better because they're gonna block a little harder because they know we'll block it for 4, but he'll punch it for 20. And that's the difference right there. And when that productivity diminished last year, his productivity diminished. You talk about think about it. The last 2 years ago, right? They won the Super Bowl and everything was working. All the planets were all right. Last year, it wasn't as productive. And their running game was not as productive. And so, it all goes hand in hand. When you look, I'm going to jump to this real quick. You talk about, Jalen Hurts. Right now, you look at Virginia Tech and you look at the Overton kid. If he doesn't make a first or second team All ACC, I'll be shocked. I think he's one of the top backs in the ACC, talent-wise. When he was coming out of high school, I went, wow. He was a wow guy. Block it for 4, he's getting you 20. And if he stays healthy, he'll have it all. And anybody who's playing quarterback for Virginia Tech will be better. The offensive line will be better because they're going to block it a little harder, and they're not going to depend on gimmick quarterback 11 on 11 games to win a game. Now you can have the 11 on 11 game to move the chains, get first downs, and cause the defensive coordinator nightmares and put the what if in their office. But if you're going to try to win the game on nothing but an 11, might as well go to the wishbone. I mean, let's just go to the wishbone. And the hell with all this stuff. Don't even think about throwing the damn ball.
All right.
So, but yeah, I like Jalen Hurts. I like who he is. I like the kid he is. He gets, hey, it's Philadelphia. This are the fans that throw snowballs.
I know, right?
He can win 3 Super Bowls, and they're still going to bitch and piss.
Not going to matter. Exactly. Yeah, 100%.
So, yeah, I like him. I think I'm sure they're glad they have him.
I'm glad to see the running back is returned, and the whole, like you just talked about, that's football to me. I mean, when I watch the Ravens play, and I love Derrick Henry, I love watching. I mean, he's just this. He's fast, but he's just this bowling ball. Football's better when the running backs are highlighted more. We kind of got away from that for quite a while. It just seemed like, but now here they are, right? It's cool.
Yeah, the value of the wide receiver and things of that nature, but that's never changed, Rick. Look at all the winning NFL teams, the Super Bowl NFL teams. You're going to associate the quarterback and the running back and the offensive line play, and they all go hand in hand. That has to work together. The quarterback, he's got to have his rhythm and his timing because, these 3.5 seconds to make some decisions to get rid of that football. Because that offensive line, you can't be back there jerking the ball off. It's not fair to the offensive line. Get it out of your hands. And then that running back, like I said, there's going to be somebody unblocked in that defense, and you've got to be able to make that person miss or create your, do not get lost yardage plays. That's the number one thing that great backs do. Don't fumble the ball and no lost yardage plays. You get that ball, I want a positive yard in the ball possession. And if we block it for 3, you're Barry Sanders. You block it for 3 yards. That thing he could hit his head on the goalpost.
He gone. Yeah.
He's gone. So the great teams still come back to Rick. It's not going to change. Stop the run the ball. Those are the teams that win.
That's true. That's right. You're right. Yes. That was always. Is that what you needed? Every time, coach, you prepared a defense, or it was about stopping the run, right?
Make them beat you. Coach Oates always said, "Make them beat you left-handed. Make them beat you left-handed. If I'm going to lose a game, they're going to do it what they don't do well. I'm going to work to take away the things they do best." Dick LeBeau had a great saying: "He who defends everything defends nothing."
Yeah.
Okay?
I like that. I like that.
You don't stop plays. You know, you get into your concepts in terms of the bottom line is force them to run the ball outside. Be strong down the middle. Do not get bludgeoned inside.
Just don't let it be. Yeah, I got
the
you.
Percentage of your lost yardage plays and turnover plays become outside type runs and the passing game. That's what we're going to high. When you played a wishbone team, you want the fullback was for us when I coached against the wishbone. He was never going to carry that ball. I mean, never. He gonna get hit every play. The quarterback was. We're going to force the pitch and the pass. If we get beat, it's going to be on the pitch of the option and the pass, because the pitch and the pass was the highest percentage of your turnover play. You know, force bad pitch, and then the intercepting the passes, and making plays in the passing game with the wishbone. So that was our philosophy.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. You try to take away the one thing and then
stop the run.
Yeah.
Stop the run and run the ball. Yeah. You know what? The genius in football is in the simplicity of the game.
That's a great point. You're right. Okay? You're right.
And so stop the run, defend the run, and those are the hardest things in football to do. To a point, you're not containing the run, you're stopping the run. You want to get to that 2nd and 7 on your first down. You create the 2nd and 7, okay? Whether it's incomplete pass or run of 3 yards or less, you win. Unless you're playing a wishbone team. When it's 2nd and 7 on the wishbone, back in the day, they're on schedule. Because they were the original. We got 4 downs to make a first from goal line to goal line.
Right.
That's fact. Their philosophy was the people they were playing, whether it was Air Force or Notre Dame or Navy Notre Dame. That Notre Dame offensive coordinator you're only going to get it 8 times in this game. You got 8 opportunities to put points on the board against us. You're not going to get into the 12 possessions against a wishbone team because they're going to keep the ball. That's their number one philosophy. And that's what the running game does. Your best defense is sitting on the bench. That's your best.
Yeah, right. Yeah, 100%.
So that's why this game of football is a fascinating game. And everything, the planets have to be in line. When you get teams that win Super Bowls and win the national championship, like they said, I've heard you say the other day about luck. Well, I'd rather be lucky than good. And luck does have things to do with it, but you create your own luck.
Yeah.
Before that game ever happens by
put yourself in
how
a good
you're
spot.
preparing your football team.
Right.
When you were the offensive coordinator for Nick Saban, let me tell you, you're not going in there just running 11 personnel, 3 wide receivers. You're going to get in a 2-back offense. You're going to have 22 personnel, 12 personnel. 11 personnel. You want to have 10, fine. But you're going to have a tight end in the game, and eventually you're going to have running backs in the game. Because that's how he was able to install his defenses. It was a team concept as a head coach. And I think Franklin will give you. That's why to be a defensive coordinator for James Franklin, I would love it, because he's going to give you those. He's going to give you things that you're going to all of a sudden during your 12-game schedule or 11-game schedule, 12-game schedule, you're not going to get surprised. You're going to be going against just about everything. Every grouping, everything in football, and maybe not as much quarterback read zone type things. But to be a D coordinator, I hated the D coordinator or coaching with the spread guys that were 11 and 10 personnel. I hated it. It affected recruiting, number one. Number two, They hurry up on the ball, and they're going 3 and out, and we're on the field forever on defense. You know, it's like, you know, they want 90 plays a game, and they're only getting 60 of them because they're punting the ball so much, and they're having lost yardage plays or turning the ball over, and they put your defense. That's called Southern Cal right now.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Okay.
right.
That's what happened to Mac Brown in North Carolina. They didn't play defense. You know, it happened to Wisconsin in that transition. Their defense went to hell. They hired a spread offensive coordinator at Wisconsin, and that program went south. So I'm an anti-spread guy. Yeah. Now, if I can hold people to 30, I'll hold them to 30 a game. But you better score 35.
That's right. That's right. You got to outscore.
Right?
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, you want to pay me? I could be Southern Cal's defense coordinator and give up 30 a game.
That's right. You don't have to do it.
I'll save them a lot of money. They can pay me $100,000 a year. They ain't gonna give me millions. Hell, I wouldn't know what to do with it anyway. I could have saved those guys tons of money because I know I'd give up 30 a game.
That's funny. And then you find out that quarterback running that offense you hate is the coach's son on top of it. Then you're just like, okay, we're going to get
when the head coach is the OC, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
It really is because it's hard. It just Barry Alvarez, Nick Saban, Frank Beamer, Paul Pasqualoni. This is my experience. That was the most success of teams that I was on, and they were all defensive coaches.
Not a coincidence, is it?
And that's my experience. I'm not telling you that doesn't work. I mean, in the college game, but I'm telling you my experiences. It was the defensive coaches were the most organized, team-orientated head coaches, period. Jim Lambright, Washington. That was my experience. I'm not going to name the offensive guys because it's not fair. I can just tell you right now, those head coaches were consistent. The schedule never changed. George Welsh he was an offensive-minded guy, but it was the team and the team concepts. He knew defensively that's where the ball game was going to be won, and he knew that. And with the quarterback, you think about all the really, really good quarterbacks that UVA has had under his tenure.
We were so spoiled, weren't we, with Frank Beamer and George Welsh at the same time in the Commonwealth, right?
You think?
Two great coaches.
Yeah.
I mean, just great.
And they talk about football being tougher today. Oh, you know what? With the portal and NIL, if you ain't got the money, you ain't got the money.
Right.
All right, but now, okay, all right, let's go find that 3rd and 4th, 5th round kid.
Yes, yes,
right? And still all relevant to to the game. All right, I ain't got the money. Well, just like what Todd's doing at UAB, it'll be interesting if that sucker can pull out 9 wins. Let me tell you what. I'd have a bunch of statues outside UAB built.
Coach Mortensen and Coach Grantham.
You talk about they got nothing. They got no money. Hey, all I've got was a hat and a T-shirt. I busted my ass.
You look dashing in both.
And that's all he could afford. When I went down to New Mexico, they flew me out, put me up at the Marriott. It was great. Hell, I go to UAB. I'm staying with Todd. I got to pay for my own gas money. They're broke. They ain't got nothing. But let me tell you, the roster he got and the again, it comes down to 2 things, Rick. The value of the position, I think, is important. There's in each position on defense, particularly, there's a certain value that each position is going to carry. There's a certain value that that the player, through his talent, is going to carry. So what's your numbers?
It's a great point.
What's your numbers? And there comes a point in time, what is the ceiling of the number that I'm not going a penny over? It's like an auction after a while.
Does Frank Beamer get enough credit for the football
No.
mind that he was? He
Not
does not.
necessarily. No.
It bugs me because he was. I mean, Bud Foster will talk about. Hey, did it the night we were at the country. I mean, it's all about Coach Beamer was so good at so many things. He distributed it equally amongst his staff. As you know, you were part of it, but he doesn't get enough credit for the football mind that he was, in my opinion.
No, especially with the special teams, particularly.
Correct. He's
The
genius.
guys-
That was genius. It was just genius special team.
Yeah. The guys on that list, Don Nalen, West Virginia.
John
George
Naylor.
Welsh.
Yeah.
Mike Beamer, Joe Tiller at Purdue. What Joe Tiller did at Purdue was beyond phenomenal.
There's no doubt. The great coach.
That
Yeah.
consistency.
Yeah.
You know, Virginia has not been as consistent. You know, think about the consistency that those coaches had. You know, Don Nalen, every 4 years, is going undefeated. 5 years, he's going undefeated at West Virginia. And you look at the 10-win season Frank's had. You look at the not, you know, and when it was really important, the bowl streak and
Yeah.
you know, the rankings ranked in the top 20. And Virginia did it with no. I'm going to jump to this one, Rick, and I hope you'll appreciate this. Facilities. I heard you guys talking about it the other day.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of, you know, this war on facilities. Let me tell you, at UVA, when I got to UVA, Virginia Tech's facilities weren't. It was so far. We had nothing.
Yeah.
We had these cubby holes at U-Haul, and there were 2 coaches to her office. Danny Woolman was my office mate. Okay, but there was no meeting room at U-Haul. None. No way. We had to go outside of U-Haul. They had 2 trailers, 1 offense, 1 defense. We met at the staff trailers. No, trailers. It was a trailer park on the back of U-Haul. The 1 trailer was the offensive room, and that's what we would need as a staff. And the other trailer was a defensive meeting room where we could meet as a staff. And one of the rooms was the video guy. It was in the trailer. That was, and we're signing Terry Kirby and Chris Slade.
Right. Yeah.
The barbers. You know, then they finally got the McHugh Center. In their facility now, football facility now, you talk about us. Like I said, they're not advertising it enough. It is phenomenal, their new facility. It's as good as there is in the ACC. It's in the top 4 of football facility. And here's the thing about a football facility, Rick. You can get lost in the bells and the whistles, okay? But the best facilities I'd ever been at was Nebraska. They had the best facilities, okay? And it wasn't the glitz and the glimmer. It was, here's the key to facilities which you sell to the players and the parents. Look, your time is so valuable. You know, balancing or juggling those balls of time between academics, which is a joke now, but academics and football and your social life. You know, social life is not necessarily partying, but hey, you know, that's your education. Your social life is your education in college. Okay. Your degree is going to be earned in the classroom. So I've always separated the two. There's a difference between in the academic world of earning a degree, and then your education that you're going to receive just being on the campus, you know, dealing with the people, not non-football, football, all the things that campus life you have to deal with. Okay. And so when you have those things, now you talk about facilities. Now the key to facilities is today you want to sell, like at Nebraska, it was a one-stop shop. That's it. Once you enter the football building, you don't leave it for anything you need until you go, unless you go to a classroom to earn your degree. Okay? Because we had a full-time doctor, full-time, in the facility, full-time. That's for coaches and the whole athletic department. They go right to see the doc. You didn't have to call somebody in, didn't have to wait for he's getting through with his working at the Blacksburg Hospital or whatever. He was in the football facility. The doc had his staff, and something went wrong. Like I had Bell's palsy. I had a bout with Bell's palsy at Nebraska. All of a sudden, Bill Callen thought I was having a heart attack. He goes, run down and see the doc. Doc comes up. He looked at me. He goes, you got Bell's palsy. Went right downstairs, and then we had a pharmacy. There was a pharmacy right there. You didn't have to go to the Kroger or nothing. He loaded me up with steroids like you can't imagine, because he said, look, this could last 3 weeks. You could last for the rest of your life. We don't know. Don't know what caused it. My whole left side was paralyzed. I was so loaded up with steroids, I had no idea where I was that whole week. And it lasted 3 weeks. And I was lucky. But if it wasn't for that, having that immediate taken care of, immediately to the minute, not having to wait for the doc to come over, or you got to go out and get the prescription yourself. He had a pharmacy right there. So that's one of the things I'm talking about. The training table, where the football players ate or the athletes ate was in the football facility. So as soon as you're through with practice, you just go up downstairs and grab your meals.
Yeah.
If you got class, they already have the things to go. If you got night classes, grab your to-go things. And the food was fantastic. You had your nutritionists in the building. The academics were in the building. The head of the academic and the study, all that stuff was in the building. Everything was in the building. The players' lounge, the locker room, in terms of the efficiency, getting taped, getting on the field, getting rehab, all this. It's one-stop shop, and that's not a lot of places like that.
True,
okay?
Very true. Yeah,
and then now today, the biggest thing with Virginia Tech, what I think with Franklin, to me, you look at their indoor facility, their practice fields. There's enough there that the athletes, except I don't know about their training table. I don't know where their academics are. I don't know. And then you got the glitz and the glitter of all the accoladed stuff, the Frank Beamer era and the bowls and all that stuff. When you walk in, you said you've been to Penn State, and it's like, oh my God, great. Yeah. But let me tell you, here's what: if Virginia right now, Virginia Tech's facility deficiency is the increase in the administrative staff, which is critical now. I mean, the GM, where he's got you want a facility where your coaches and your minions, as I would call it, your portal minions, your high school evaluation minions, your NIL minions.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to call them minions. All right, you got to have an area where they can walk in and it was professional, where they can get their job done. They can do their job with great efficiency because everything's there. There's nothing you don't need to do your job at 100% efficiency. You don't need it. It's right there. You don't need to be running around, going to different offices, different places, wasting your time. So not only is it with the players in terms of time efficiency, coaching time efficiency. That's where the Merriman Center fails. The efficiency, because there's no room. There's no room.
Yeah.
Not for the staffs you have to have today. Not what you have to have today. You have to have it. And there's somewhere it's going to be a line. You're dealing with NIL. You're dealing with taxes. You have to have an accountant that all of a sudden, maybe he's not in Blacksburg someplace, but he's got an office over there.
Yeah, it's going to keep going up.
Yeah. Because you're going to have a visit set up with the accountant for your tax structure.
Especially when we get to $60 million rosters, which people are predicting in a couple of years, all over the country. Yeah.
Yeah, not for anything 500 or less. No, you know what I mean. Anything over 1,000 or whatever over 500. All right, here we go.
Yeah,
500 or less. I don't even have to. I'll pocket that money. But so that to me is, and here's what I would do, Rick. I'm going to put this up on the screen. I don't know if you can see it. You see this thing here?
Yeah.
This is what I walked into before I walked into the home, whether I was on the phone or I handed this to the kid and I said, you see that thing that says football? I want to know, what are your priorities and what are your goals? And list them for me. I don't care how many it is. Just list it. You know, give me the Cliff Notes, but list it. Give me your academic priorities. What are you looking? What? You know, outside. Oh, what do you want to major in? No, give me your academic priorities.
Right.
Write them down. Okay. Right. Education. So see, this fulcrum was the balance of the two. You can't have the seesaw tilted towards academics or football. So your education is your balance. That's that's walking a class. That's the classroom.
Yeah.
You know what? You know, I could walk down. Hey, listen, I could take you to Boston, Massachusetts, down the old combat zone, give you an education. You know,
yeah, absolutely.
You know, I know Byron Leftwich. He lived in D.C. and he gave me a hell of an education when I went to visit him.
I love that.
So now, if all of a sudden facilities are number one, well, guess what? If we were at Virginia, Terry Kirby writes down facilities as number one priority, we ain't getting them.
You're not getting them, right? Well, we know what the number one priority is today.
That's exactly right. So the only thing I hear about the bitch about facilities with Coach Franklin, and I know what Penn State has, I know what Vanderbilt maybe had, probably not as good as Penn State's, but the big deal is you better have give me the NIL money. What Wake Forest's problem right now was facilities. And that's what Jimmy Grove went into the AD, said, we don't have good enough facilities to compete. Well, you know what the AD did? He fired.
Right. Yeah. Just because he asked for the next progression of things. Yeah.
They're going to the Orange Bowl. They're doing things. And now they have not. Okay. They did his job. They put a winning team on the field. Every 3 years, he had a winning season for sure.
Oh,
and going to bowls.
Yeah.
Goes to the AD and says, I need facilities. The AD goes, no, and fires. Brings in Clausen. Clausen gets the facilities.
Yeah.
Now he gets the facilities.
Yeah, he got them. Why?
And he gets them. And he wins. But guess what, Rick? Now NIL comes in, so now they're trying to go back to the people that gave all that money. This is a school that only has 4,000 students, 6,000 students. They ain't got the graduating class that Ohio State has.
No, they do not.
They ain't got the money coming in. So now the same people they're asking the money that they gave the students, now they're asking them money. They're going, hey, our pockets aren't that deep.
We need a little assistance here, guys.
So to me, if that kid puts down football and he puts down that NIL is number one, well, I'll know what I'm dealing with. Okay, let's compete. But if he puts facilities down and I'm at, okay, and let's say, kid goes, and if it's Notre Dame and Penn State or Clemson and Virginia Tech, and he puts facilities down as number one, well, move on. And now you tell him upright, son, I can't compete. Not with the facilities. But anything else that's important to you, we can do as much for you and not more for you than any place else. And if you're looking for facilities, because the number one thing I want that kid to put down is win a national championship. That's the first thing I want to see on that list. Win a conference championship. I want a ring on my finger. I better see that first. Because if facilities are one, NIL is two, if they're 1 and 2, you got one selfish son of a you-know-what. All right. I'm red flagging that one. Or I'll say, okay, I'll walk into the meeting and tell the GM, hey, $1 million? Oh, no way. Let's offer this kid about $600 and let him go.
So he will move on.
We'll let him move on.
I like it.
Okay?
I like it.
So it's not on our hands. That's all. That's why, Rick, I wouldn't last a day.
I know. Hey, let me ask you about something. We talk about this a lot. And I said, you know what? I haven't asked Coach Elmo this question. I don't understand why. You were at UVA, and you know what they became last year, had their best season ever.
Mm-hmm.
Why is UVA fans so hard to convince to support that football team? Is there something about the culture you learned while you were there? Because it has continued throughout generations. They couldn't fill up a national highlight game against Florida State with the season they were having last year. They had to go the extra mile just to get people there in front of the camera. What happens with the UVA fans?
I wish I had that answer, but here's my experience. Again, I hate repeating myself on your show.
No. People want to know,
In 1987, we won 8 games, beat BYU in what's called the All-American Bowl. It went from 3 wins to 8. Okay. And Georgia just turned the program because 2 years ago he was in the Peach Bowl, a 9-win season after 27 years of losing seasons. Nope, not a conference championship. A lot of nevers, Rick. Never had a conference championship, had never been to a bowl, never, prior to George. Never beaten Clemson. There were so many lists of nevers when George took that job. It was, you talk about a coaching graveyard. And next thing you know, he gets there. In the 3 years, they're in the Peach Bowl, and they beat Purdue with Jim F. They beat a good Big Ten football team. And then the next 2 years, it started to go a little south for them. So I get there, not about me, but we turn it around. We get to 3 to 8 wins. The next year, 87, this is my point, okay? We lose to Penn State. We lost to Clemson 10-7. We had their asses beat finally, but we lose to them 10-7. We lost to Duke, that was an embarrassing loss. Okay, and there was one other ACC team we lost to. It was Duke and Clemson. Those are the only 2 ACC teams. Oh, and Maryland. Maryland. Okay, we lost to Maryland. I think no. 2. So we got 2. The bottom line is, we take second place in the ACC, sole possession. We beat NC State 31-0 in Raleigh. It was an ass kicking. The second place team at that time guaranteed a bowl. The top 1 and 2 in the ACC were going to a bowl at the time of the bowl setup. They had 2 spots. They took NC State. They were third.
For fans.
Why?
Just because of fans.
Why? Because of the fans. They were going to bring, NC State's probably got, next to South Carolina, probably the most unheralded fan base in the country.
Yeah, they do.
You go down to Carter Finley, and that place is packed, and they are rabid fans. So I can't tell you why. And I feel so bad for those kids. I got Jeff Lagerman, his senior year. That's his senior year. 13th player taken in the draft. David Griggs starting for San Diego Chargers line. Those are my 2 linebackers, and they were denied a bowl because not because the ACC or we didn't deserve it. We were sole possession of second place. It's because the fan base. NC State brought more people to the bowl site when that was important.
Oh yeah, it always has been. Yeah.
So I've experienced it. It's like, you talk about a downer, and you talk about a recruiting liability.
Oh,
now, you're able to buy your way out of it by giving more NIL money. I'll give you $2 million, Rick, to play for Virginia. And you know what? You give me $2 million, I don't give a crap.
I don't care who's there, right?
Hey, you want to empty one? I could give a crap who's showing up to the game.
Yeah, we're good. Let's go play in front of nobody. We're
give
fine.
Me the money. Hey, I'm gonna go up. It's in the account. I'm good. Who's showing up? Don't care. As long as the officials are there, we're good. So years ago, this would hurt them. It would hurt them because you could sit there and recruiting. If I'm at Virginia Tech, I'm going to get a TV copy of that game where they span the stadium, and I'm going to put, here's Enter Sandman, and here's Enter Virginia with the horse, and the horse comes out the stadium and is half full. So, that used to hurt them in recruiting, but now with NIL, you can buy your way out of that. You got a chance to buy your way out of that. But when it's all said and done, it is just like Carolina. Carolina's no different, Rick. Carolina's no different. Virginia and Carolina, exactly the same. Because back in the day, what were they? Hey, can't wait for basketball.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, right. It's a beautiful stadium. But whenever Tech goes there, that it becomes a Tech home game. There's more maroon in the stadium than light blue, to be honest with you.
Hey, listen, when we went up there and beat them up there in '93, those Tech fans rushed the field. It looked like we were in Blacksburg. So no, there's no explanation for it. Actually, believe it or not, in the early '90s, when George finally took them to the Peach Bowl, UVA sold more season tickets than Virginia Tech. When I got there, Virginia Tech '92, they were like, I don't know, I may be off with this number. Someone could tell me. Dave Braden, I'm sure it could, but it was like less than 5,000 or 4,000 season tickets sold. I think less than 6 for sure. I think it was not very high. And Virginia had sold more season tickets than Virginia Tech. And I know that for a fact. At that time, how many thousands, the number, I don't know, but they had. And now it's just ridiculous in terms of season tickets.
Night and day.
We always said, in order to go, with recruiting in Virginia, people said, well, why can't you got to go through Charlottesville to get to Blacksburg, 6481, unless you go 460 or 360.
Yeah, you're right.
Or Route 58. If you're going to go the highway, you got to go through Charlottesville to get to Blacksburg. So why? And you know what? There was a point in time in recruiting, Buddy Omohundro, his dad, Frank, were roommates or teammates. I don't know what the story was, but I know this. Apparently, it was Frank was the godfather. Kid at Clover Hill High School. He's going to Tech, right? Well, I'm in Virginia. I'm recruiting him. I like the kid. We offer the kid. He's going to Virginia. He didn't even visit the campus. Terry Kirby, Chris Slade, Ray Savage. I can go on these names at UVA. They never stepped foot on the. Sean Moore unofficial visited Tech. But those great players at Virginia, they didn't put a foot on that campus. And then Frank flipped that. All of a sudden that got flipped. And so, it's but why Virginia, the fan following after that great season they had, Carolina's the same way, Rick. Mind-boggling.
It doesn't make any sense. You go
down to NC State. You go down and watch a game at Carter Finley.
Oh, I have. Yeah, I've been there one time.
I'm telling you, it's like wow, compared to Carolina or Virginia, Duke and Wake. It's not even close.
It reminds me of Lane. Yeah, it's like Lane Stadium in a lot of ways. It feels the same.
At least when I was coaching.
Yeah,
I've been in that stadium numerous times. With UVA and East Carolina, and let me tell you, it was something. It was like a bowl atmosphere, particularly the East Carolina game.
Well, speaking of bowling atmosphere, Coach, it's on Saturday. The Bash, baby.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. Looking forward to meeting everybody.
Yeah, it'll be great, man. We'll have a good time, and it's going to be great you're there. You've been so many people are still saying, hey, Coach is going to be there, right? I said, you better believe it. He's going to be there. He's going to leave early. He'll be there. I think Mike's going to come at least, and other people are too far away that want to be there, and I completely understand.
Is Will Stewart coming?
I have no idea.
Because he texted me the other day. He was down at the ACC, and he texted me, and I said, hey, Will, love to meet you, see you again. If you can make it, that'd be great, blah, 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 blah. And he said something about, hey, the key is if Jen was coming, he'd show up, I promise you.
Yeah. Probably so.
I said, look, if Jen was coming, I said, if she came, she'd probably double the attendance.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
As a compliment would go. But no, I'm looking forward to it. Hey, I went to that Hokie Club meeting.
Yeah, we talked about that down there. Yeah.
it was something.
Yeah.
Standing room only.
So it was something, all right. Hey, but Brandon asked, Coach Elmo, over or under 175 for a round of bowling?
No. Listen, golf, bowl, no, fly fishing, I'm good.
You're not worried about a bowling ball, are you?
And let me tell you, I was so pissed off last week. It was so bad. The rain was brutal. And finally, I'm looking at this weekend. I told Janet, I go, well, we're driving up Saturday morning. Okay. And, we'll get there. We'll be over there at 6 o'clock. And Sunday morning, I'm going fishing.
You're going fishing.
And maybe Monday morning before we head back. Because I'm staying at the Highlander.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
I love that place. That's good. That's as fine a hotel as there is. There's not one in Roanoke.
No.
That restaurant up top with the
on top of the roof. Yeah.
And everybody in there's this one gal who's working. I went up to eat up there. She's a student at Rav, but she knew you. I name dropped.
Hey, wow! It got you somewhere mentioning my name. Wow, that's news.
Yeah. It was like it got. She was impressed.
Who?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Well, everybody's looking forward to it, Coach, and safe travels coming up. We can't wait to see you on Saturday.
Well, appreciate it. Well, Janet's looking forward to it too. She's really looking forward to meeting everybody and you guys, and she. While I'm on your show, she's always listening. And she, what she says? You'll love it. She goes, Phil, good stuff. Good stuff.
She's coaching you up after. Hey, good stuff.
So you made an impression, Rick.
There you go. You're a hell of a recruiter, Coach.
I wasn't bad. I mean, I worked at it. Trust me, you do the little things.
Well, listen, safe travels, man, and we look forward to seeing you Saturday.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. Appreciate you having me on. Hey, I sent you the picture of my golden retriever.
Yeah, it was so funny. It's so funny. I had to reach out to Coach yesterday because we're going to wait and have Andy on tomorrow because it's post-tech day at the kickoff. And Coach said, hey, I'm here. I'm there, just like your favorite golden retriever. It was good.
Got my tail wagging and my bright eyes. I'm in. I'm good. Love to be good to be wanted.
Yeah, well, we can't wait. We'll give you some treats on Saturday. Yeah, it'll be fun.
All right, buddy. Take care. We'll see you Saturday.
All right, Doug. Yeah, safe travels, man. We'll see you, Coach. Coach Elmo here on the program. He'll be at the Super Bowl on Saturday. Yeah, that's going to be a highlight. You're going to love that. Make plans to come out and hang out with Coach Elmo. You don't want to miss that. You do not want to miss that. And Mike Burnup, I know, is coming. Anyone else, I don't know. Maybe we'll get surprised, by folks. But to follow up real quick before I get into some sponsor stuff, to follow up on the Virginia situation, back in 2014, because, I'm a UCLA guy. UCLA was preseason top 10. They had Brett Hundley. You remember he was a Heisman Trophy candidate. Jim Moore was the coach. And they started their home and home with UVA, and they opened up in Charlottesville. And I remember I was late for some reason. I don't know if I thought I was going to be out of town. It was me and a group of fellows, and we decided to go to the game. And I thought, well, there's no way we'll get decent seats. And this is down, at Scott Stadium. UCLA, I think they were number 6 or 7 preseason, top 10. It's back when they were actually still a good football team. And Brett Hundley was a terrific quarterback, if you remember, played for the Packers. And I ended up getting seats. We got seats like at the 40-yard line. It was for nothing, for next to nothing. And I'm sitting there thinking, how did we get seats? We got seats like on a Thursday or Friday going into the game. Yeah, we just sat right there. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, the stadium wasn't full. Maybe 3/4 full because it was a season opener. It's a season opener against a top 10 team. UCLA and UVA had never played before. I mean, it was – Brett Hundley was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Heisman Trophy. Got it. And that was my first experience going, wow, really? Okay. Okay. Yeah, so anyway, we could have moved like after the first couple quarters, Chris, and we could have sat right 50-yard line if we wanted, probably. And the other thing that got me, and I'm not trying to pile on, by the way, UVA fan, I'm not, but I remember sitting around and how many people were uninterested in the game. What I mean by that is they were casually watching a football game, like you were at a baseball atmosphere. Either people were on their phone or they were just having conversations. And I'm sitting there going, this is football. I don't think this happens at Lane Stadium. Just a hunch that the people who fill up, the 65,000 that fill up Lane, aren't necessarily just watching casually. I don't know. To me, I remember that day, and it was a beautiful day. It was sunny. It wasn't too hot. It was. I don't know if the game was. I can't remember if the game was nationally televised or not. But you still had a number 7 team coming all the way from the coast, and it was not full. Well, it wasn't even close. Yeah. So yeah, good stuff. Yeah, they're all in it, Lane. I mean, you see the crowd shots during the game, even during the bad years. Fans are reacting to calls, they're reacting to plays, they're doing all these things. They're into it, man. It means it. You know what? You know how the SEC has that slogan that just means more. Well, when you're talking about UVA fan and Tech football fan, it just means more in Blacksburg. I'm sorry, it does. You may not like it, it does. And that's what James Franklin is feeding into. Look, Tony Elliott deserves more than that. Tony Elliott deserves a lot better than that. Even before the record-setting season last year, just tip your hat to that man and the things he accomplished in that program as a human being. You can't overstate the job he did seeing that program through those senseless shootings that took 3 men's lives. He stood up and he held that thing together like very few could. And I know he's the head coach of the arch rival to a lot of Tech fans, but he's one hell of a man. And to me, if nothing else, UVA fan needs to give him his flowers just because he held things together in Charlottesville that few people could probably have done, to be honest. I mean, he was giving interviews and he was going around counseling and he was arranging family counseling. He was doing it all. And what happens a few years later? They're in the ACC title game with the record-setting season. But let's put it this way. If UCLA at that time were coming to Lane Stadium, ranked number 7 in the country to open the season, if I had my druthers and said, oh, here we are on a Friday, I think I'm going to try to get a ticket, guess what I would have found out? Oh, there aren't any available. I mean, you can go try to walk around the stadium and you can try to talk to somebody and pay about 4 or 5 times over the initial cost. But you're not going to get any. They've been gone for a while. Just saying. It was just talking about, I remember that day. UCLA wore all white in that game. I think that was the first time they had worn all white under Coach Moore. They had the gold pant was their traditional uniform. And I want to say it was like 28-21, 28. Bruins beat them. It wasn't a rout, but they had a really good defense that year, and they made some takeaways and things like that. Yeah, I would be. That's right, Chris. I'd be on Chicken Hill standing on a tall vehicle with the binocular. Yeah, I think, UCLA's got the ball. Yeah. 100%. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. UCLA beat up on Tech in that game. They did. In the Sun Bowl, right? I think it was the Sun Bowl, Wayne, down in El Paso. And I remember that's when they debuted their horrible black uniforms, if I'm not mistaken. Brandon says you could have had one of mine, Rick, in that scenario. We'd have a blast if we had tickets back then. Yeah. Yeah. I think it was the Sun Bowl. Bruins beat them up pretty bad. They knocked Logan Thomas out of that game, if I'm not mistaken. It was a hit that was very violent, that looked dirty, but it wasn't. It was flagged. No, first black for UCLA. I'm sorry. Yeah, Tech, I think, wore white in that game against UCLA. I don't know why this stuff's coming to me. Wayne, get on it. Find some video. Find some pictorial evidence. I know you will. You can find a still shot of UCLA and Virginia Tech in the Sun Bowl. It's got to be, I'm pretty sure UCLA wore black and Tech wore white. And go. You producer extraordinaire. Family Fencing, sponsor of our studios. Thanks to them, 540-200-8294. They are the best. Reach out to Jason Green if you haven't already. And we really appreciate their support of the program. McClellan Chiropractic, 155 Walters Drive. If you're local, go see Mark. He took us through all of his cool stuff, all the equipment, and it's awesome. And you don't want to miss out. If you have a problem with your back or your hips or whatever, let Mark take you through it. The science is amazing. It's amazing. And we did a video. It's still up on the channel. Check it out. Pulaski County Sports Entertainment, the presenting sponsor of this program. Speaking of videos, we were there at the multiplex, the sportsplex, I should say, the Forge last Friday, and it blew my mind. I can't wait to see it completed here in several months. They're going to have that thing done. It's unbelievable, and we thank them for their sponsorship of the program. Little River Heating and Air saw 3 of their trucks in Blacksburg yesterday, and all day actually. And a lot of folks were talking about Little River Heating and Air because they were there fixing a couple buildings. And I'm like, yeah, there you go. 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg, 540-553-2971. Ryan Pry, the BDST fan question of the week, and this one's going to be fun to tabulate. I'm not going to give it away yet. This movie question Wayne had has been really cool. We ask you your idea of the best summer blockbuster. And it's going to be down to 4. We'll see if a few more votes have come in this morning, and I'll announce it tomorrow. There's no real time frame. Just get it in sometime today at 391-0788 on the Professional Door text line. And speaking of Professional Door, reach out to them today. You only have about half the month left, 674-0008. And you get $40 off your preventative maintenance visit. And if you haven't utilized those folks, do it. Get it done. Get it done. 674-0008. And you have to mention that you heard us talking about it here on the program, and you immediately get the discount. And you can schedule it for a couple, 3 months down the road. Doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be in July, but you have to schedule it in July. And plus, you're going to meet great people. Trust me, the best in the biz. ReadySetFund.com. That is Bob Christ, BOBCRST11 at Gmail. They are terrific and helping you raise money through a series of text messages. Read all about it. It's really cool. National Bank member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of me and this program. Been with them for 35 years. Great people, Larry Ramsey and Company. Before that, Brad DiNardo. Awesome, awesome people. Lawson's Mobile Home Supply has been doing it since 1997. You can get Manufactured home parts for your windows, plumbing supplies, installation, 381-8011. And we just talked about it a minute ago, but why not again? We'll be at the Bash Saturday, 6 o'clock at the Super Bowl, 540-382-5525. We've got our own lanes. We're all the way to the end. When you walk in on the left, we got our own room. I'll tell you, thanks to Amanda, met her yesterday and got it all arranged. We're going to do a video of everybody while they're there and put it up on the channel. It's going to be great. She was all on board with that. I wanted to check before we just start filming, but it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome, and looking very forward to that. And if you want a T-shirt, I don't ever bring these up enough. Maybe I should bring them on Saturday. Wayne, remind me. $20 if you want a T-shirt, and we could give out some of those, sell some of those on Saturday if you decide that you want one. Oh, Wayne took care of it. As a UVA fan, sadly, I agree with you, Rick. I'll never understand it. Coach Elliott deserves more. Yes, he does. All right, so Wayne, let me find this here, Wayne. I'm sorry. I see. I knew I could count on you. My wingman. No. You can be mine. Sorry. Yeah, there it is. UCLA. God, there they are in those black uniforms. And Tech looked great. Man, I like that. That's a good-looking white uni right there. I wonder if I can blow this thing up. No. Anyway, there it is. That's actually UCLA. They have the best-looking college football uniforms, that powder blue and gold. But no, they wore black against Tech. That is Brett Hundley. Tech looked smashing in that white. That's a good look for Tech. I like the old Bruin stripes on the shoulder. And I like that helmet. That's a good look for Tech in that game. The all-white. Big orange stripe. See the big orange stripe right down here? I like that look right there. See, stripes need to be a thing again in college football pant. There's too many unis that don't have the college football pant. Have the college football stripe. They're just the solid. Looks terrible. I got you, Chris. And that's one that's gotten some votes. They'll reveal tomorrow. Top Gun reference is a warm-up for BDST pop later. Yeah, tonight, we're going to be popping tonight. And if you're easily entertained, I will be giving you my game-by-game 2026 Virginia Tech football schedule prediction. You already know 4 of the games. There's 8 kind of ambiguous. 2 wins, VMI, ODU. 2 losses at SMU, at Miami. Everything else. And the thing about it, I looked at it again yesterday. Tech could win every one of those other 8 games. Or Tech could lose every one of those. It's really, it's going to be tight in some of those games. But it'll be fun. We'll mash that up tonight on Pop 645. Jump on. Let's talk about it. We'll get your picks. The Odyssey comes out tomorrow too. See how that goes. And we'll have some fun tonight. So I've already staked you at 2-2, Tech. So what about the other 8 games? Dun, 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 dun. We'll see. And some of them were really difficult. Just trying to give your best prediction, thinking about the things you like best about what Tech has on paper coming back. And some of these other programs and it's a silly, fun thing to do in the off season. It means absolutely nothing. Nothing that I predict tonight is anything you should take to heart. But it is fun. Phil Steele will be on the program July 28th. Yep, a lot of maneuvering for that to happen, but we got it done. So, yeah. And you're right, Jeff. Coach Elliott, we've talked about it, deserves much more. He does. Good man. Good man. And we'll see UVA. People ask me about UVA, and I say, I don't know. They say, what do you mean you don't know? They don't talk. I don't hear a lot of people. The radio guy's not sure. He thinks they're going to be really good on offense. Not sure defensively, but he thinks they'll be okay. I don't know. They certainly don't have a fan base going around buzzing about them. You don't have a bunch of UVA fans like just to hype it up. Instead, it feels like the UVA fans are going, are we going to try to go to any games this year? Yeah. It's a lot of effort to go to a game. Are we going to try to go? Bobby, can you let me know? Pick one out. No, just one. We don't want to go to more than one. Why would we do that? Yeah, I know they won 11 games last year. I get that. Yes, I know they set some kind of record. Actual footage from a couple discussing whether or not they're going to go support the Wolves. Sorry. It's not knocking the program, but I think the fans of the program deserve to be knocked. UVA fans like a tree falling in the woods. What is there? Did football really happen? Are we still in that? What is it? Are we ACC? Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, David Smith, Coach Elmo. Tomorrow, Andy Bitter, Mike Ashley, open mic, and Jen. Jen will be there tomorrow, but not on Saturday, folks. Chris, 6:45. We're going to go there. I'm being told on text that that's the most accurate impression of a Virginia fan that they've ever heard. Let me simplify it by saying Virginia football fan. They JPJ's usually got a full crowd. It's not Bobby. It's Biff. It is UVA after. That's true. Or Binky. How about Binky? Binky? You need to lotion up. Yeah, it's so hot. Yeah, the sun. Yeah, and we may need to leave, after halftime. Yeah. Sorry. Everybody enjoy the rest of your Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow on the Finally Friday edition. Before that, we'll see you tonight on Pop. Take care, everybody. Thanks for always making the morning better. We'll